Are you flipping the rage bait on me?
What is that existence? Responding to chuds. I love doing it. Let's go with the dog against the dogs. Alabama.
When I had a choice to pick a co-host.
I know.
Oh, you're betting on the game. Why would you be doing that? Because it's fun. Welcome back to Geek'd Bets. Joe DeLeone, Sean Anderson. What are you doing? You're already moving your camera. You can't sit still for 2 seconds. Welcome back to Geek'd Bets. Today's episode, we're going to get into MLB Opening Day predictions. We're also going to talk about the Sweet 16 for March Madness. And, of course, we have to dive into the whole Dan Orlovsky Ty Simpson controversy, a couple other NFL topics that we're going to be getting to as well. If you haven't done so, make sure you hit the subscribe button on the YouTube channel and also hit the like button on this video so you don't miss out on any of our future content. We're going to be live on Thursday, usual time, so make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss out there. Sean, let's jump right in talking about good old Ty Simpson and Dan Orlovsky. If y'all missed it today, Dan Orlovsky today and yesterday created quite the stir for himself by emphatically stating that Ty Simpson was quarterback one in this class. Here's the truth with how Orlovsky was operating. He is correct with some of his points, but his delivery was completely mismanaged and mishandled. There are a lot of layers to this, to what he stated. A couple of the comments that he made when he was pressed about it on the Pat McAfee show today, he went out of his way to point out that he feels that Mendoza does not have big-time performances in big-time games. I see where Orlovsky is coming from. Not in the regard of his criticism of Mendoza. He had a comment that I think is something that is often disregarded about Ty Simpson. He said, I think that when we look at the body of work and what was asked of these two quarterbacks, you have to start with the question, who needed to do more to carry their team to play well? Who took more games over throughout the course of the season? Ty Simpson, and it's not even close. That aspect of it, Sean, I don't agree with. But I think a lot of people, when they're evaluating Ty Simpson, keep bringing up that he did not finish the year well. I feel like a lot of people are disregarding that his offensive line was significantly worse than Mendoza's. His run game was significantly worse than Mendoza's. His receiver room well underperformed Mendoza's. I believe that there is a way for Orlovsky to have addressed this without being so aggressive in trying to tear down Mendoza. I feel like he got way over his skis and dug himself into a hole that now he is desperately trying to dig himself out of.
Why couldn't he just say he liked Simpson more than Mendoza?
That's my point.
It just say, I like Simpson as a prospect more than Mendoza. Say, I don't understand Mendoza. Say something like that. Other than things that are just easily disproven. The big game comment. I don't know how far he went last year in Indiana. Oh, wait, no. Mendoza had a superhero play in the biggest game of the year, and then all throughout the CFP and all leading through the CFP, through back shoulder fades across to Indiana wide receivers against the best defensive backs in the nation, and converted big nuts third downs, big nuts fourth downs. And the point of this isn't for me to stand up on a soapbox and defend Fernando Mendoza. He's a number one overall pick, and it was unwavering for me. About midway through this year, it was cemented. This past college football season, I said, that's the guy. That's the guy. There's no even question. I don't care what Ty Simpson does. I don't care if Ty Simpson throws for 4,000 yards and 30 touchdowns. Don't care. Fernando Mendoza's the 1-1. Orlovsky, and at that company, I think they understand that they have a draft show to put on, and they're trying to put on a bit of a draft show. And having a controversial take like this that gets everybody stirred up, good for TV, bad for credibility, and bad to be Dan Orlovsky online today. And I think they set their guys up to be like, hey, man, today's your day. You're the clay pigeon today. You'll be shot out and you'll be shot at.
So by the in terms of like the reaction to him, I think that there's two parts with this. I generally think it's really lame when everyone piles on and just does the whole, oh, this guy's an asshole because he disagrees with consensus. As somebody who is typically in the Orlovsky seat of getting yelled at and trampled upon, I am not. I think it's really dumb. I think everybody's entitled to an opinion when this is all opinion based. There is obvious facts to it that he was incorrect about, but for him having the take, there's nothing wrong with that. But at the same time, when he does the whole thing like, woe is me, everybody's so mad and upset at me. Everyone's so bothered by what I had to say.
Be kind today. Or he posted that they cost nothing to be kind today. Give me a break, dude.
That is where he loses me. If you're going to be in this territory of being emphatic about having something that is so far against consensus, stand on business. But the biggest issue is his dumbass kept digging himself further and further
he had a point to make
into the hole, but he didn't need the whole big game argument thing that he brought up is where he completely lost his footing. The bit of bringing up the context of the NFL GMs who agreed with him that Simpson was apparently their number one quarterback doesn't surprise me. The tools that Simpson presents are valued by different offenses. I think that some teams would seriously value what he brings to the table. I'm sure that he was quite impressive in the pre-draft process. And also, part of me kind of wonders how many teams really did deep digging on Fernando Mendoza when they know that they're not going to even.
Why would they?
Right. Like why waste the time? Maybe you do like a quick one over, like in case something happens, but that wasn't going to happen.
Yeah. If I live in Georgia and I can have peaches all day and I've never seen a kiwi in my life, I'm going to have more knowledge on the peach than the kiwi just because I think they got kiwis in Georgia. I should have said like a jackfruit,
but I don't,
something from out of the country that we couldn't even have. So why would I pay any attention to the jackfruit? I have my peaches here. Your peaches is Ty Simpson. Doesn't touch the jackfruit, by the way.
I'm generally perplexed by that analogy that you were.
Fernando Mendoza is the jackfruit that they can't have.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I think I'm okay. Regardless from the point, I think that he was making a lot of he was providing some strong takes that I think that they could be supported. And I am in the camp of believing that Ty Simpson should go in the first round. That I stand pat on that. I thought that the debate was, is he a first rounder or is he not? There's a lot of people that don't think that he's worth a first round pick. There's a lot of people think that he's overrated. A lot of people are saying that he's too slight of frame. He's too undersized. He doesn't have enough playing time. Like all the real criticisms, they think that's too much to overlook. But the fact that this had to jump all the way to he's QB1, Mendoza can't even touch him. It's not even close. That is where he completely lost everybody. That was where this whole thing completely collapsed and fell apart.
Yeah, it should have. Mendoza looks like an NFL quarterback right now. Like seeing him at the Super Bowl rolling up on his ass, I said that's an action figure. That guy's an action figure.
How were you taller than him?
Maybe, dude. If I was, it's by like a millimeter. That guy is just exactly what you're looking for in an NFL quarterback. Wide, like the chest wide, shoulders strong. I'm like, that guy is a quarterback. Ty Simpson could have been walking around. I'm like, oh, what show does he do? You know, is he doing spots here? What's the deal?
Have you seen him in person?
Ty Simpson? No.
He's not that small. He's 6'1".
Oh, is he only 6'1"?
Yeah, he's 6'1". I believe he's 6'1" and change. He's like a hair under 6'2".
I don't love that, but that's again above my line of short quarterbacks. So I'm not gonna ding him. You're 6'1", you're 6'1". It is what it is. I'm not gonna call you short.
Do you believe that you haven't evaluated him from like a draft perspective, but having watched him this season, do you think that is a franchise quarterback?
I love Ty Simpson this year. I thought Ty Simpson was a great college quarterback. I thought that in the DeBoer system in Alabama and just how they operated, what they had, they were obviously limited. I thought he did really well, and there were weeks that we came on and did a show, and I said, I love this Ty Simpson guy. I love the way he plays. I love the Tennessee game, or he had a game where maybe it was a Georgia game. He had a ton of big nuts throw at the end and just was awesome. I said, that guy can play football. Is he a franchise quarterback? Probably not. He's not. And I haven't seen enough of him. I saw a season.
Wait, why don't you think he's a franchise quarterback?
I've only seen a season, and the trend in the NFL is that Yeah, so I'm not going to sit here and reach and say that's my guy that I should take at 6. He's a first rounder, and I will acknowledge first rounder, second best quarterback, I believe in this draft class. But I am not thinking that he is like a franchise guy.
But that to me feels like a contradiction. You're saying he's a first rounder, but you don't think that he's a franchise quarterback. Why?
Correct.
Why would you draft a guy in the first round if he's not a franchise quarterback?
Because teams do.
Oh,
that.
Your team did that.
They take. Team what?
Your team did that. I forgot.
Exactly. My team did that. I see teams draft quarterbacks they're like, well, we got to be in the lottery, and I respect that. You have to be in the quarterback lottery, and it's not really a lottery because you do your due diligence and you scout, you look for the best team fit, and you make your guys, and you make sure you have your list of if he's gone, we go with him because of so. It's not the lottery, but it kind of is a lottery because rookie quarterbacks, young quarterbacks, if you get a Jaden Daniels, great. Sometimes you get a guy that is not a Jaden Daniels. Sometimes you get a Zach Wilson, and that's the lottery you play. So I think teams are going to enter the lottery this year, hoping Ty Simpson has the quick development traits needed to succeed in the NFL and become a franchise quarterback. But I have not seen enough of Ty Simpson playing college football to believe that. What did he play this year? 13 games?
I believe that's correct. Yeah, 13 games. I think your evaluation here is a little bit convoluted, though. I think it's a yes or a no. If he's a first round quarterback, he's a franchise quarterback.
He can be drafted to be one, but do I think he will be one? Is no.
So you're saying that you think that the NFL will value him as a first round pick, but you personally would not take him in the first round.
No. If I was a quarterback needy team and I had,
but you're not a quarter. You're Sean Anderson.
Correct.
You are Sean Anderson.
Yeah, but
evaluate Ty Simpson. Do you think that he? This is where I'm getting confused. Not confused. I'm not understanding your take because you can't say you just straight up can't say a guy is a first round quarterback and then follow it up with say. You can't say a guy is a first-round quarterback and follow it up by saying that he's not a franchise quarterback. Those two things don't work. They don't tie.
I think they do tie because the NFL is constantly has teams that need quarterbacks, and you get these quarterbacks in the first round. I don't think they wait until the second or third round anymore to draft the second best quarterback. Like if I didn't believe he was I think he's probably got second or third round talent is what I would say. But the NFL does not draft the second overall quarterback in the second round.
But I'm not asking you what you think that the NFL is going to do with him.
That's what they do.
I'm asking you if you think that he's a franchise quarterback, then he goes in the first round. If you're saying you would not take him in the first round, you're saying you would take him in the first round. You would take him in the first round, but he's not a franchise quarterback.
I would not take him in the first round, but a team will take him in the first round.
That is the clarification.
That is what I'm trying to say, is that he will get selected in the first round, even though I personally don't think he's a first-round quarterback.
Okay. Well, I vehemently disagree with that. Okay. I think that 13 games is obviously a small sample size, but he is a player who has been around college football for a very long time. This is not a true junior that we're talking about that's declaring. He has been around the Alabama program for some time. He has been a kid who has publicly come out and stated that he is about making the right choices and all this crap of being a good teammate and being a good person. And that was why he didn't go back to college football after he told Kalen DeBoer he was going to the NFL when all those offers rushed in. And I believe he probably stuck at Alabama because he thought that was the right thing for him to do, to stay and be a good teammate instead of just transferring and jumping into the quarterback meat market.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the small sample size of when Alabama was playing well showed a quarterback that can command a game and can be a big-time playmaker in order to take over games, to win his team, to help propel his team to victories, all of those things. I saw a guy that moved well, improvised well, had incredible decisiveness. For a guy that has barely played, for him to have that quick trigger decision-making is what makes him an outlier for the category of a guy that does not have very much playing time. I feel like a lot of the criticisms that come on him are tied to the playing time and they're tied to his slight frame. I keep getting into it with Ryan Roberts over this.
Oh, yeah.
Who keeps saying, you're going to trust him to keep on weight. Well, the kid had gastritis last year. He got sick in the middle of the season. He lost 20 plus pounds.
Gastritis.
Stomach issues. He couldn't eat. He literally couldn't eat. He could only consume broth.
Oh, that's no good at all.
Could you imagine playing a season not being able to eat anything.
That's points for Simpson, honestly. I did not know
That's my
he had
point.
gastritis. That's points for him.
I think he's a tough ass kid. I think that he absolutely 100% should be picked somewhere in the teens. And I think that he has every single tool that a team looks for in a franchise quarterback. Because you're basically, are you stating that you think that he is more of a backup worthy player, or you just think he's going to be a bust and he's not going to work?
Oh, well, I'm not putting a bunch of expectations on bust. Like I think you can only be a bust if there's a bunch of expectations labeled on you to be the next chosen one, to be the next savior of the sport. So I don't call guys that go in there and have a tough time a bust. Like I'm not calling Mitchell Trubisky a bust after this many years because
he's a bust. What?
Why? I had no expectations for Mitchell Trubisky. He played 10 games.
But okay,
I didn't have expectations, so I won't call him a bust.
But okay, forget your expectations. So the general expectations when you pick a guy, just the general narrative, when a guy is picked in the top 5, when the guy is picked in the first round, he's supposed to be your starting quarterback for an extended period of time.
Yeah.
For at least one contract. More than you.
Trubisky made the playoffs. He was the starting quarterback for a long time, or for some time.
He made a playoff, and then
that defense was nasty.
He wasn't very good.
Let me walk it back. That defense was filthy.
If you are a first round quarterback, the way that I look at this, you are expected to get to your second contract. Plain and simple. Whatever happens after the second contract, I think that maybe it gets a little bit blurred on if a guy is a bust or not. But if you don't start, you're a bust after that first contract. If you're a backup somewhere, if you're out of whatever it is, Trubisky's a bust. You're not drafted a backup quarterback second overall where he was picked.
Yeah, and I agree. Like that's totally fair. The second contract point is fair. I guess if Ty Simpson went in the first round and did what I expect him to do, which is be pretty mediocre in the NFL, then he would be labeled a bust, even though I don't want to call him a bust. I don't want to, because I don't think that he's going to go in the, like, I'm not. If Ty Simpson did really well in his rookie year or second year or something like that, it would be surprising to me. It would be a nice surprise, but it would be surprising. I think he's going to look a lot like Mac Jones. I think it's going to be a lot like that. He's
more athletic, and he's got a better arm than Mac Jones.
I still think it's going to look a lot like him, man. I watched him this year, and I said, that's a really great college quarterback, and he's making big-time throws, and he doesn't look phased, and he steps up and takes hits, and he gets right up, all the traits that I loved. But I did not see that's a guy I want on my team. As a quarterback-needy team, I'm not sitting here thinking, man, we just got Ty Simpson, or we traded up and got Ty Simpson, or he fell to us. Then maybe Drake London would have somebody that would have the ball thrown to him. I just wouldn't believe. I don't see it. My eye test gauge on Simpson doesn't tell me that's a guy that I need to invest in. And I feel like I'm you, because you get swept up with the big hulking athletic quarterbacks. And Ty Simpson doesn't feel like that to me. Like, he doesn't feel like that guy.
Well, to me, and this is also part of the reason why I agree with parts of what Orlovsky said. I thought that I really value how guys handle pressure, how they handle adversity throughout the course of games. And he, to me, was comparable to how he handled pressure to what Mendoza did. I think that the main big thing that I keep coming back to is that he was in a really shit situation. That offensive line was dog ass. That run game was dog ass. He had to do everything.
I understand, but unfortunately, I'm not going to sit here and woe is me about Alabama's situation with their players. I'm just not. Compared to Indiana, which was a bunch of G5 transfers, and then the Indiana team, I'm not going to do any hand wringing for Alabama and their roster.
But
it's just not something I can do.
It's not hand wringing for Alabama. It is context for why Ty Simpson struggled down the stretch. Mendoza had two receivers that are going to be top 100 picks. He had a starting center that's going to get drafted. His left tackle is going to get drafted early next year. Both of his running backs ran for a ton of yards this past year. I don't know how much more of a better situation he could have been in.
You know why they're getting drafted that high? Because they had a Heisman Trophy winning quarterback, and they got more eyes and attention. They said, wow, this works.
Surratt did really good numbers when he had Rourke throwing to him. So I don't know if I would constitute that as
elevator Fernando Mendoza elevator. And if I'm going to be fair to Ty Simpson in this situation, like, what if he got drafted by the Browns, who has O-line problems and has functionality problems and issues at receiver and everything else that you could have problems with in the NFL, and he goes there? I think it would look similar. And it would probably look worse, actually. The NFL is faster and stronger. But like, if you went to the Rams and sat behind Stafford and they made him next of kin there to be the Sean McVay quarterback, I'm thinking about it as a different situation. But the Rams aren't a quarterback needy team right now compared to the teams that literally don't have a good starting quarterback this season. And one of those teams will take Ty Simpson, and then he's going to have a tough time in the NFL because he's going to a dog shit team, and they're not going to be able to keep up with the big dogs. Like, if he should freaking sue Alabama and the state to get another year so he can get back.
He had another year.
Oh, then he should go back. He should go back and stay for a year. Get picked like the 6th quarterback overall next year.
This was
get to a good team.
This was a whole story that he made it clear that he was entering the draft, and the likes of Tennessee and Miami offered him a ton of money, and he stated that he already told the board that he was declaring for the draft, and he did not want to go back. He didn't want to go and transfer somewhere after, like, basically lying to DeBoer. Like, he didn't want to do wrong by DeBoer because he already told him that he was leaving and that he was turning the page.
Yeah.
I don't disagree that he should have gone back.
That's honorable. He should have gone back and he should have waited.
But to Orlovsky's whole point is that he got the NFL, when they gave him a grade, they gave him feedback, he got mostly first-round grades. So that's why he chose to take the leap. He'd been around college football for long enough that it was worth him taking the time to move up. Let's move on here because we've been talking about this for a while.
God, yeah.
Travis Kelce, I don't understand why you're so upset over this. I would love for you to explain this to me. You wanted to discuss this. You also did a video on this for the Sports Geek. Travis Kelce signed a 3-year, $57 million deal. It was later clarified, though, that this contract is really not the contract that everybody thinks that it is. Yeah. He has a bunch of bonuses that makes it a $12 million contract in 2026. And that $57 million number for 3 years is essentially so that the Chiefs can keep dibs on him, so they can keep him in 2027 if he decides to keep playing, which I can't imagine that he will. I can't imagine that they will. I just would like to know, though, why, where do you even stand on this that you're so opinionated about?
I'm just over it. I'm kind of over I'm over it. I'm over Travis Kelce. I'm over seeing people yell at me about his efficiency and how he was a top 5 tight end last year. He wasn't. I don't care about the receiving yards. I don't care about the receptions. He wasn't the best tight end last year because I thought he hurt his team more than he helped them in big moments. I thought he hurt his team in the pass and run blocking game. He is out there doing what he wants to do. And if he's earned that right, in your opinion, fine. But that's not how a football team works. You can't just pass the ball to James Harden and say, go give us 40. I'll stand in the corner in football. It's a different sport. It's every player on offense has to do their job. And I watched a lot of the Chiefs last year. And a lot of the time, this guy either wouldn't do his job or couldn't do his job. Additionally, Patrick Mahomes coming back off of big-time leg surgery. And the Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce connection that we all remember, right? Like, let's think of the glory days. Patrick Mahomes steps back, pump fake, Tyreek. Oh, he's covered. No, I can't get to him. All right, play breaks down. I got to scramble. Who's that? Who's that big man darting across the middle of the field, getting open? Oh, it's Kelce. Oh, my gosh, the magic is there. He can't do that anymore. He doesn't do that anymore. And Mahomes, with the leg injury, I am expecting to not go out of the pocket as much and extend plays with as much cavalier attitude as he typically has. Plus, the Chiefs are getting younger. They made a huge move with Kenneth Walker. I'm expecting them to have a much more balanced offense with a good run game. So are we putting are we putting Travis Kelce on the outside and expecting him to make a big-time reach block for Kenneth? I can't do that in good faith. So what am I sending 87 out there for if it's not just because he wants to be there? And he's earned the right. And I'm not going to say he hasn't because he's a Hall of Famer. But good God, I just see this as an impairment to a team that is making a lot of moves right now to usher in Dynasty 2. And Dynasty 1, some of the guys got to leave. Like Chris Jones will not be there for Dynasty 2. Tyreek Hill is not there for Dynasty 2. Travis Kelce, he needs to be gone for Dynasty 2.
You got to pay the bills somehow.
Well,
but I'm
for
kind of
Travis or the Chiefs?
For the Chiefs.
Oh,
I
okay.
think that for the fact that he's going to be making $12 million this upcoming year, I would imagine at his age and his declining athleticism that he's probably not going to play in 2027. Hence the whole multi-year contract thing. It's a moot point. $12 million is way low on the spectrum of what the top tight ends are currently getting in the NFL. It's the equivalent of him being paid as like a high-end second tight end in my eyes. I don't think that his contract reflects that he's getting some gigantic deal out of respect for what he's done in his career. I think this is like,
it's not even it's not the money for me. It's the on-field performance.
But there are obvious positives that come from keeping him around, which is the international popularity that the Chiefs have for him being on the roster if he's still with Taylor Swift.
Mm-hmm.
Let's call it what it is. He provides very little value. I would imagine they're probably strongly considering taking a tight end this year, probably even considering at the 9th overall pick taking Kenyon Sadiq, who would be a perfect pick for them out of Oregon.
That'd be nice.
He's
strong and fast.
I feel like there's very little expectation that he's going to do very much for this team this year. And I think that most people understand that and recognize that. He's at the end of his career. I mean, like when Jason Witten was around on the Cowboys for as long as he was, did anyone ever think, man, this is real messed up that he's sticking around and then he also tried to come back and all that crap? Like, was anyone like really bothered? He could barely move.
No, Jason Witten could still block and he could still run a 5 and in and a 10 and in. All right. Travis Kelce,
he's never been able to block.
Travis Kelce made his bones by being able to be a mid to deep level guy and a yak guy. Yak more than anything. It used to be you get the ball to Travis 10 yards out and then he turns up field and he makes magic happen. And it was magical. And he was a force on the field. No yak, no production in my eyes for what his play has. And I haven't seen him change it. I haven't seen him adapt and say, let me bulk up. Let me bulk up so I can box out a hybrid linebacker safety that's going to be on me now. Used to be nobody that could cover him. Now I think there's a lot of linebackers that can cover him. I would ask, free agent right now sitting there, do you think the Chiefs are in a better spot with David Njoku at tight end or Travis Kelce this year? Because Njoku's just sitting there.
I'm curious to see what the Chiefs cap situation is with how much money that they have. They've got $6 million, so they're probably not going to be able to afford to bring him back.
Probably could have used
but okay, but here's the thing that you're kind of making out Travis to be like a complete and utter bum. Like he hasn't done anything. He had 900 yards in 2023, 823 yards in 2024, 851 in 2025. His production was way too high because they didn't have anybody else. This to me has nothing to do with Travis Kelce's not the problem. I don't disagree with you. I'm kind of sick of watching him. And I think that he was a liability at times for how inconsistent he was for just straight up catching the ball.
Mm-hmm.
There were a lot of times where the ball was thrown his way and he just wasn't coming down with it. And then they'd show his big dumb face and he'd be making, like a very quizzical look like, oh, what the hell happened?
Yeah.
They need to get more receivers. They need to get better receivers. They need to get more impactful, consistent, reliable receivers. The problem isn't Kelce. It's the roster construction. It's the current team.
Well, they brought back Tyquan Thornton. That's a help. I know. You're right about why he had inflated numbers last year is because they had nobody to throw to. And you know what this goes back to? I'm sorry. You know what? It goes back to the root of every time. I just needed to talk this out. I needed somebody I could talk this out with. It's Collinsworth. It's the Collinsworth effect. I can't do another year. That guy talking about Kelce. I just can't. I can do it with him talking about Mahomes because I acknowledge the greatness of Mahomes. I acknowledge the second coming of Mahomes. I acknowledge it. And it's something that I can deal with. Kelce slobbering on top of Mahomes slobbering makes games totally it goes past unwatchable to I don't enjoy this product. I can't enjoy this product. And that has bled in to my off-season analysis, evidently, where now I'm rooting against a guy who used to be a total force, someone I could root for and say, man, he just bossed up on the whole league. I would sit there and be like, man, maybe he's corny sometimes, maybe he's cool sometimes, I don't know, but he just made a play that nobody else could make. He's not doing that anymore. So now I'm just looking at Travis Kelce, and that I'm over it. I'm done.
Let's move on to talking about these running back contracts. Adam Schefter reported, Sean, that Bijan, Jahmyr Gibbs, and Devon Achane are expected to sign long-term extensions this offseason. It begs the question, should their teams invest in long-term contracts to retain all three? It's worth noting the high contracts at running back in terms of average annual value. Saquon is at 20.6. McCaffrey is at 19. Derrick Henry is at 15. Not a lot of these big-name running backs, after they've been given these contracts, it feels like are on Super Bowl contending teams at the very moment.
They are not.
In terms of production, Bijan, back-to-back 1,400-yard rushing seasons. He had 800 yards receiving last year, and in 2025, 12 total touchdowns. Jahmyr Gibbs, back-to-back seasons, over 1,800 scrimmage yards and 18 total touchdowns, of having at least that. And then Achane had his first season over 1,000 yards rushing with 1,350. He's had 2 straight years of over 1,400 scrimmage yards and at least 12 touchdowns. The way that I look at this, I'm generally, I always kind of have a tough time of finding where I sit on if it's worth paying a running back. I think in the timelines of where these two teams have been and where they are, Gibbs deserves the contract and he needs to be paid because he's their best offensive player.
Yeah, that's saying a lot too.
Bijan is their best offensive player.
Agreed.
Maybe you could survive without Bijan, but if you're trying to ascend and get over the hump and you've just been that close, you can't get rid of a player of his caliber. Devon Achane needs to get traded. I mean, it's so serious. The stupidest thing that the Dolphins could do is throw a gigantic contract at a running back when the team is complete and total dog ass. Now, I'll give Achane credit with an awful, mega shit offensive line.
One of the worst.
He still managed to put up 1,300 yards rushing. He had an insane season,
Crazy.
but for the love of God, trade the guy. Send him somewhere to a competing team that could use his services. See if you can get a day 2 pick for him. I don't know the running value for a running back that you have to then give an extension to, give him a gigantic contract. But for the love of God, I hate it when teams pretend that they can take on a contract like this and it could be a part of their rebuilding process. It's just like Breece Hall and the Jets. Why are we doing this?
Yeah.
You earn the contract, but for the love of all God, don't waste your money on a position that is supposed to be reserved for getting paid when you are competing.
Yeah, paying the running back feels like trying to marry the stripper. Some guys can make it work. Most guys can't. And that's tough. And it's a really tough pill to swallow because I love the running back position. You love the running back position. Well, this is a show that loves and appreciates running backs. We want everything good to happen to running backs. I don't know why, and I disagree with how skewed the payment for wide receivers to running backs is, since now you can't get a good wide receiver after the age of 31 anyways. So I'm team pay Bijan. I'm team pay Gibbs. Achane's going to get a bag too. I think that if you're rebuilding now, you need the run game. I just can't see a team making big waves without it. I can't see Atlanta getting better without Bijan Robinson. And I can't see Detroit saying, man, I know Gibbs has been so good, but we could just draft another guy and be as good. I don't think you can. You just can't. So sometimes you got to swallow the pill. And this is, maybe it's completely hypocritical for what I was saying about Kelce and then usage and ability on the field and impact on the game, but I think you pay a good running back and it appeases a lot of fans. I think it makes a lot of people happy if you have a great running back on your team like Bijan Robinson, who was one of the maybe 3 shining lights in my entire life, from September to December last year. One of the 3 positive things I could look to on a Monday morning and say, all right, well, at least I got Bijan in my life. At least I got that. So they deserve it. I think Gibbs and Bijan both crack 21 or 22, and whoever becomes the most paid is the most paid. You can make arguments for both of them to be. They're the two best young running backs in the league. I wouldn't be surprised if one of these idiot teams paid one of them $25 million. I wouldn't be surprised.
Well, the thing
given the receiving value that they
right,
provide also.
The thing with both of them, arguably more than the thing with like McCaffrey fits into the bucket where his argument could have been made he's just an offensive player. He's an offensive weapon. You have to pay him because he's your best offensive player. The returns on that have been good, minus the fact that he has been banged up. But I think that for both of those players, with the increased usage of Bijan as a receiver, plain and simple, you have to. Yeah. You have to bring back your most highly impactful players. And longevity-wise, like these guys have stayed healthy. These guys have stayed relatively healthy and on the field. You have two teams, one with the Lions that was in the playoffs that got bounced out just because you had a really tough stretch.
It should never happen, by the way, but it is what it is.
So tough schedule, couldn't stick in the playoffs, and you need to be able to get back there, and the way you get back there is with Gibbs. Retooling the offensive line is part of that process. The Falcons have been banging on the door, and a lot of their woes have come from coaching issues, and you hope that Stefanski gets more out of the team, and also Michael Penix being incredibly mid and mediocre and injury prone and all that stuff.
Kirk didn't help much either.
But A-Chain, there is no justification to give him because he would have to be argued to at least be making 15. He'd have to be argued to be making more than Derrick Henry.
I'd be comfortable
he's younger than Derrick Henry. But if you're a team like the Dolphins that is trying to navigate this rebuild and you're eating all of that money in dead cap money already,
forget about that. Yeah.
I just don't know what money they're going to actually use to give him this extension. I'm not a contract expert. Send him to a team that is going to appreciate him. It was a great pick. He was a great player, but for the love of God, you got to look yourself in the mirror and understand. If you were willing to get rid of Waddle, you got to be willing to get rid of A-Chain.
Here's the thing. They're going to be paying a lot of rookies. There's going to be a lot of rookies over the next couple of years on that team. So they're like, well, we're only paying Malik Willis 20 to 25, either one of the two, over the next 3 years. Where else is the money going? We're not paying any of these dumb rookies. We might as well give it to the running back. Like if it came down to that, I'd think it made sense. But as something I often forget, they're paying Tua a king's ransom to get the F out of there. God, I can't believe Atlanta signed Tua.
Yeah, he knows Drake London's girlfriend's dad. That's a real positive team building measure.
I take it all back, man. Pay Gibbs $30 million a year, trade Bijan to the Saints, and then just do it now. I can't handle it. Man.
I am falling apart to watch Tua airmail a pass that just flutters and floats into the hands of a defender. After Bijan rips off a 25-yard gain, I can't wait for that to happen.
It's going to look like the Dolphins. The Atlanta Falcons are going to look like the Dolphins offense.
They are the Dolphins.
And they're going to, but they don't have Tyreek Hill and they don't have Waddle. They got Drake London, they got Kyle Pitts, and they got their own Devon A-Chain and Tua. Oh, don't forget Jahan Dotson, everybody. It's
a real championship roster. It's a real utterly championship. How is Jake Matthews still playing, by the way?
He's a Matthews, man. Everybody in the Clay Matthews is like, maybe he's like the black sheep of that family because he only played for like 10 years or 11 years. Remember he was on the Rams? That was weird.
That was weird.
But like Bruce Matthews played for like 18 years. Jake Matthews was drafted in like 2014. He's going into year 13. He's a freak. He's getting a little slower, which is pissing me off. But he's a
34-year-old tackle.
Dude, I see him like these holding call. Here's the problem with the old tackle. The old tackle knows all the tricks, but these refs get a hard on for calling a hold on an outside zone play now more than I've ever seen in my life. I'm sure you were tracking last year. You're like, oh, that run went for 25 yards. There must have been a hold on the tackle. And offensive linemen hold all the time, but they're calling it all the time because now that's what they're looking at. If a run does well, there had to be a flag. That's what's been happening to Jake Matthews. He's been doing the same thing, and the games and the rules are changing. It's BS. Love Jake Matthews.
He's got an old fat guy.
Do you have a pool house I could live in, Mr. Matthews? You need to pick out those weeds? I got you.
I don't think he's taking you in.
Why not? We'd have a good time together.
Maybe he'll take you in if you hit some of your March Madness bets.
Oh.
Let's move on over to our predictions for the Sweet 16. It was an awesome first weekend of college basketball. We got to get back on track here. We're each delivering 3 picks that we love for the Sweet 16 for Thursday and Friday. I got my first one here for you. I'm going to take Duke -6.5 against St. John's. I talked about this in the predictions reaction show that we did on Sunday. This Duke defense it's scary good. It is really, really freaking good, especially at holding down and preventing opposing teams shot attempts. They've got one of the best defenses in the country when it comes to opponent shooting percentage. We watched St. John's in their game against Kansas just brick so many 2-pointers, just could not connect on anything. Made enough 3-pointers to help them win the game. I think as this Duke team has kind of been going through the motions the first two rounds, and Cameron Boozer has turned it on when he's needed to, and Gongaba's coming back, this is an opportunity for St. John's to get knocked off and to lose by more than 7 points. The last part with this that's kind of compelling, every single time Duke has won a national championship, they've beaten St. John's. So I don't think that affects their mentality or their approach, but I think that could factor into this somehow.
Yeah, I'm not going to hate on the Duke pick. Duke's a great team. If St. John's is really tough for college basketball, because if an NBA team played like St. John's, they'd win 60 games where it's high effort and they get a shot up every time. And it doesn't matter if they go cold. You got volume of shot. You have points going in. That's how they operate. And they play very stingy defense, an effort-filled defense. So that's great for the NBA. College basketball feels like it comes down to who can hit 2 threes in a row and then break open, especially if you're a better team going against a bit of a weaker team. Duke has that capability. And I think they face off really well against St. John's with physicality and size. That's fine. That's a fine bet, Joe. I'm going with it. I hate my picks. I do. I love them, but I hate them.
Why did you make them?
Because I'm making them, and I have to. And it's just something that I am super passionate about doing, even though I come into this and I have to admit that I'm taking Houston giving 3.5 versus Illinois, which is a team, Houston, that I have harpooned all year for being perennial letdowns, for being a team that can't meet the moment, but they're facing off a team that does that even better, and that's Illinois, who has been a team that in football and basketball, it's like, oh, man, they got talent. They look good against bad teams. Could they step up against a good team? Nope. They can't. They won't. So Houston, I just saw them pick apart in the second round with mid-range jumpers, blocks, pushing the ball up court with intensity and purpose. Houston 3.5 versus Illinois. I'm not scared of the Illini. I'm going back, and I'll get my heart broken by Houston again, one way or another. But that's the right bet on this game.
My next pick, I am taking Iowa State -3.5 against Tennessee. Big
Love
reason. I talked about Iowa State's defense being a buy-in for me for them to reach the Final Four. But for this particular matchup with a relatively close line, one thing really stands out to me. Tennessee is 205th in the country in turnovers per game. You know who is number 4 in the country in opponent turnovers per game?
I would have a guess.
That is Iowa State. They're also 12th in they're 9th in opponent assisted turnover ratio. So what we witnessed with Iowa State, what they did against Kentucky, I think translates here against Tennessee. I think they're going to be able to, if it starts early, if it starts to waterfall, like just starts to slowly trickle, it's going to turn into a complete avalanche of turnovers, just like it did against Kentucky. Game's close. It's going a little back and forth. Oh, there's another picked off pass. There's another picked off pass. I really think this Iowa State team's defense is just, it's so machine-like.
Yeah.
And I am fully bought in for them to get past this round and to dismantle Tennessee.
That's the one pick that I really loved here on the slate. I'm glad you took it.
Well, you're welcome to take it too.
Am I?
We have a mirrored pick for MLB Opening Day.
Oh, that's boring. Do we really?
That's so
come, you're a bad person.
I wrote it down before you did.
You're a bad person.
I wrote it down before you did.
God damn it, dude.
I wrote that down before you did. I don't want to hear.
That's not
anything.
right, man.
I don't care. I don't want to hear anything.
Good Iowa State pick. They've grown on me very, very well, very nicely. Quickly? What am I? They've grown on me.
Rapidly.
Thank you.
Expeditiously.
Oh, yeah. Look at him go. Can he hit for the triple here? He didn't get the bat off his shoulders. So, my next pick here, Michigan State getting 1.5 points versus UConn. I am a believer in Izzo ball. I understand the Izzo slurp. I know how it wears on Big Ten people and college basketball people. A lot of people tune in and they see Izzo yelling at a player in the round of 64. They say, I don't like that guy because he's mean to his players. And then you have to have Michigan State players all year come out of the woodworks and say, no, he's just coaching us. And that's how we like to be coached at Michigan State. And he's never changed. And he's got a great team. Carr is a freak of nature. They've got legitimate freaks on this Michigan State team. UConn, I can't say the same. UConn is playing Hurley ball, which is intense, and they look for an opportunity and to crack it open. It's what they did versus UCLA. They were just batting the ball around versus UCLA. They saw like a hypothetical in this badminton game, back and forth. Oh, do they have a lag on their shot when they're going backhand? Okay, that's what I'm going to pick apart. I don't think Michigan State has that. They've got jumpers. They've got a couple white kids that can shoot the three, which is on par and on brand for Michigan State. Elite athleticism. UConn also, I can't get rid of the Big East tournament. I can't forget their games versus St. John's this year. It's not the same UConn team that we've come accustomed to seeing winning it all. One caveat, I guess I saw this. Dan Hurley with UConn is not covered. Like he's covered the spread in every game he's been in March Madness with UConn. Favorite, underdog, whatever. That's concerning, but I believe in this Michigan State athleticism.
Yeah, the one thing I will kind of contend is that I don't think UCLA was the correct barometer for us to determine where UConn sits. The last game that I'm taking Purdue minus 7.5. We're going against one another here. Look, I've talked about this with Purdue. The ball movement, the assists that they're able to produce.
Yep.
They are so freaking efficient on offense. They are number one in KenPom's adjusted offensive efficiency rating. There's a couple other things that turn out to really stand out to me here. Texas is 286th in steals per game. Purdue, where they excel, number one in the country in assist to turnover ratio, number one in assists per game. They're number 4 in assists per field goal made. They move the ball really well and they connect. They're also a tremendous three-point shooting team. They are 8th in the country in three-point shooting. Texas, their bum asses are 253rd in opponent three-point percentage. They're also only 129th in three-point shooting percentage. Texas has been fun, and it's been a nice little story. Fake Cinderella, BS Cinderella with all the money that they
privileged
spent.
Cinderella?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. This is not a good matchup for them. It's not. This is where Purdue starts moving the ball and they start shooting the lights out, and Texas is standing there digging in their butt, going,
Okay.
what happened?
I don't think they're digging in their butt, dude. No, I'm not. They're not digging in their butt.
What happened?
No.
I thought the SEC was better than the Big Ten. That's what's going to happen.
Okay, well, that's going to be happening. Yeah, sure. I am on Texas here. I choose to be on the right side of history as they are making their Cinderella run. I grew up in Compton. No, you didn't. You grew up in LA. That's their Cinderella. Like in a nice suburb outside of it. No, you're not that tough. I understand. But I thought walking into this game that the big freak, because I focus on the fives, from Purdue, Oscar Clough, was going to be too big for Texas. He's wide. He's got the beard. People call him Amish, all the stuff. Like I thought he was just going to be too big. I thought Texas looked small. They're 5. Matas, Voki Tatis, 7-footer, but even taller than Clough. I thought that maybe Gonzaga was going to give him some burn with EK. He didn't fold. That's the frustrating part for me watching Texas, is that this lanky kid, number 8, their center, their big center, he didn't back down. He didn't fold. He kept scoring. And that's where I thought that Texas was going to get picked apart. And I don't think they will anymore. Plus, getting points. Purdue, I love Purdue if they were 2.5. Like them at 3.5. cool with them at 4.5. I'd still take it. 5.5, I'd probably still take it. 7.5, I just do not like that line. I don't. It's too much. It's too much. Texas is too persistent. They are.
It's a shit bet.
Okay.
It's a bad bet.
Sure,
ain't gonna
man.
hit.
All
Ain't
right,
gonna
man.
hit. Ain't gonna hit.
Yeah, Gonzaga was supposed to
Ain't
win
gonna
against
hit.
them also.
Yeah, but I didn't pick Gonzaga. I'm picking Purdue right now.
Yeah, it's fine. Pick Purdue.
We both picked Texas on the parlay.
You're going to get burned by Purdue, and you're going to be stomping around this apartment like Matt Painter and Purdue. They do this every single year. If Texas wins, I'm going to be like, oh, look at me. Look at me. I'm the big brain. I'm taking the big brain here.
You're getting caught in the moment.
Okay.
You're getting caught in the moment.
I think you're getting caught in the moment. Purdue gives you this moment every single year, and then they decide, is this the moment? Am I in the
This is the year.
Am I in the moment? Is this the year? Oh, no. What's this in the back of my britches? Oh, I loaded them up.
Hot right now. They're as hot as they possibly could be, and every single thing that I just pointed out here is a bad matchup for Texas. So I'm sticking with it. You're going to be all pissed off and mad that your bet didn't hit, and you're going to be
program's cursed, pal.
You're going to have to redeposit.
Bet on the curse program.
All right, MLB opening day this Wednesday, opening night on Wednesday, opening day on Thursday. We're going to dish out 3 picks that we like for Wednesday and Thursday. First pick that I'm taking, Aaron Judge over a half an RBI at plus 135 odds against the Giants on Wednesday night. I simply grabbed this because the odds were so great. I think that a lot of times when we take these baseball prop bets, if you can get favorable odds that aren't like ridiculous, like super long odds for a player of Judge's caliber, you have to take it. I also think that for the fact that he was just playing in the World Baseball Classic, it helps that he's coming off of playing in a very competitive environment to just jumping right in. I would argue that that's more valuable than having been in spring training. So we'll see if there is some sort of a hangover. I know that sometimes that does tend to happen, but I have a feeling that Judge has an opportunity here to at least get 1 RBI.
It's fine. It's not a bet that I would take after seeing his performance in the World Baseball Classic.
But this isn't the World Baseball Classic. He's going up against the stupid Giants.
He's going up against their one Logan Webb, and the Giants, I know they're not going to be great this year. They've had like 80 or 81 wins the last 3 years. He couldn't get the bat off his shoulder, and he couldn't put the bat on the ball. I think he maybe should have taken the WC off. And I honestly also, everyone's treating him like the captain of the WBC team. Why? Because he plays for the Yankees? Guy's kind of shit.
He's the best player in the MLB. What do you mean?
Guy is kind of shit. He's not, but he is. My first
what
pick
does
here.
That mean?
Like he's obviously not.
He
like he can hit 50 homers. He can hit 50 homers. He's got a big arm in right field. Like I understand he can go up to the wall, rob a catch, and put the contact to the ball. But when you need him in the moment, he disappears completely. My first pick for MLB opening day. Thursday, Milwaukee Brewers giving 1.5 versus the Chicago White Sox. Jacob Mizorowski on the mound. You should bet on the Brewers every single time he's on the mound. He's a top 3 pitcher in baseball. Not a flash in the pan guy. Actually so good, so dominant that even if he gets Tommy John or something like that, he comes back and he's still a freak. That's how good this guy is. Absolute menace on the mound. White Sox, I don't expect them to score a run. They're still rebuilding. The Brewers keep on developing great in-house talent, and then they get shipped off because they can never get right, and they always blow it in the postseason. But one thing they can do is beat the lowly Chicago White Sox. They are a better team, one of the best pitchers on the bump. I can't wait for this one. They're going to smoke the White Sox.
You and I have accompanying bets here for this second one for opening day. You and I both like Cubs minus 1.5 against the Nats. Cubs this year should be pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
The Nats are terrible. The Nats are so bad.
Come on.
The Nats they're just comically one of the worst rosters, if not the worst roster in the MLB. You know what I'm going to do? What I love to do at the start of the season? If I'm on a shit team, I'm going to bet against them just every single day that I get a chance to. Opening day, only 1.5 point line, 1.5 run line. Absolutely. I'm taking it. You the Nats fan.
Why
You're
are
also
you
taking
smiling?
this bet.
Why are you smiling delivering that? I could hear it in your voice that you're smiling.
Sucks.
They do suck. This Nats team is really, really bad. Number 2 overall pick, Dylan Cruz, not appearing on the opening day roster. He wasn't picked like, he was picked ages ago, and he still stinks. They got nothing. The Cubs are at least mid to competent, is what I will call them. The Cubs are heartbreakers. Don't get it twisted. This Cubs team will rip you apart through 162 games from March to September. They will absolutely take you on a roller coaster and make you wish you weren't alive at times. But you look at this team. Nico Horner's a stud.
Kind of dark.
Bregman, it's baseball. All right. That's how it goes. Alex Bregman, awesome addition. Pete Crow Armstud is what I'm going to call him, is a stud. He's great. One of the young faces of baseball. I think he's going to emerge as like a Bobby Witt type ascension this year. He's really, really solid. Say Suzuki, I know he's out, but they just got it. They got enough is what the Cubs always have. They always have enough. So I'm going with Chicago in this one. Nats, you can bet against them all year. You probably should. They're just going to be so bad. And they have no pitching, and they have nobody that you know except for James Wood, who will be a Dodger by August.
Last pick, that probably won't be the case. The last pick that I really like, Paul Skeens over 6.5 strikeouts at plus 104 against the Mets. Last season, he averaged 10.4 strikeouts through 9 innings per 9 innings. And he has just been a machine when it comes to striking out opposing batters. For him to only need to hit 6.5, he was a guy who very sparingly when I get into the pocket of the summer, and I was telling you this, I take a lot of strikeout bets when I need something to bet on. I prefer it much greater over home run bets, hit bets, whatever it is. The strikeout bets is the one pocket that I hit, and Skeens seemingly is one of the easiest ones to latch on to, because if it's as low as 6.5, he's going to be able to knock it. There are so many games last year where if he ends up playing a long enough stretch, he's going well over that number. And the other part of this is also just kind of like my gooberness is that Skeens is on the mound. It's the start of the season. Why not? This is fun. And let's throw it out there that he's going to end up going over 6.5 Ks.
He's the big horse, man. I'm not going to sit here and challenge that. The Mets, leave it on the Mets. Shinji, it's the Mets, are fine. They're a fine team, but I don't think they make a ton of noise this year. Hey, enjoy Brett Beatty. Enjoy telling everyone how good Brett Beatty is going to be. And then every Mets fan hates him. I did that MOS at Citi Field, and every single Mets fan was telling me how much they did not like Brett Beatty. And I'm sitting here like, golly, you guys are hard on this guy. Then I watched him, and I said, I understand. My final bet here. Tyler O'Neill, plus 320 to hit a home run on opening day for the Baltimore Orioles. He's hit an opening day home run for the last 6 years. It is an MLB record. It was an MLB record last year. I want to be in on history again, because if I'm sitting there with my fat ass in my room watching MLB, and I'm looking up, I'm like, oh, let's do MLB around the league, whatever. Tyler O'Neill does it again for the second straight year. I'm going to be kicking myself.
I took this bet last year. So my only thing though with this is also kind of a goober fun bet, because it would just be fun if he did it for 7 years in a row. But at the same time,
hey, do
we really think he's going to get it for 7 years in a row? I felt like a jackass when I took this. I was like, there's no way, but why not? This will be fun.
I took it. Hey, I bet on Nick Castellanos when bad things are happening in the world. All right. So that's what I do.
You openly admit that.
There's a pattern, and bettors are one of the few groups of people understand patterns, and also, more importantly, they respect them. I am of that nature.
At Joe DeLeone at Sanderson Radio. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't done so already. Hit the like button as well. We will be back on Thursday.